How many people do you know who have run out of money versus how many people do you know who have run out of time? Think this through a little bit. Got this email on Saturday. Let's take a look here. Hold on just a second. Let me make sure I'm on my... Yeah, here it is. Let me pause it real quick. Call this guy Bob and Jane. And email from old Bob. Hey Josh, you probably don't remember me, but you helped me review my retirement planning back in 2019. That gave me the little push I needed to go ahead and bail. I've had a whole lot of freedom and happiness in that time. Now, near the end of 2022, I started having bad backaches. Since previously I had spine issues in my neck, I just thought more degenerated discs. Next thing you know, I'm at an MRI, another MRI, and then a CT. Well, a C-scan, I don't know what the CT is. C-scan, something like that. Next thing you know, I'm diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I had surgery about a month ago, and I'll be starting chemo next week. I'm down to 120 pounds. He's 5'10", 120. I hate all the medical stuff, but I've had complete peace of mind because I know I'm safe with Jesus. That's first and foremost freaking the most important thing, right? The most important thing is be safe with Jesus. Remember, I just got to be clear. John 3:16, John 3:36. What does Jesus say? It's not Jesus believe in Jesus. It's obey Jesus. Understand how the Bible has been corrupted. If you look at the Greek of those words, and I just can't stress this enough. You start going down this when it comes to how they translate the Bible, you're recognizing they changed the meaning. It's not just believe in Jesus, it's obey in Jesus. If I remember, I'll put the link in my man's video for you to watch. It's not just trust, or not just believe, it's obey. Obey. What Jesus gives us 120 commandments. Why do you think Jesus says if your right arm cause you to sin, cut it off? And yet Paul comes around and says, no, you don't have to worry about that. It's just faith. You don't find that odd? Jesus says, I remember reading this before I even came across them. I said, Jesus didn't say, he just said, if your right arm causes you to sin, cut it off. You think that's just a suggestion if it comes literally from Jesus' mouth? I'm not talking about man here. I'm just talking us as a whole. It's crazy how distorted the words of Jesus been because of Paul. Read it. I'm telling you, understand. I'll put the link in the show notes. It's going to blow your mind. You're like, dude, we've been corrupted. Oh man, it's breathtaking, and it's so wonderful too, because you're like, have we been led astray from the true Jesus Christ? Remember, Yeshua the Savior. You know what I'm saying? Have we been led astray? So anyway, it's not just believe. It's not just believe. It's obey. Obey the words of that who was just all right. Financially, I think we're okay. I haven't started Social Security yet. I was expecting to be able to stretch out our investments to delay until 69 or 70. And he's this guy's big into real estate. I'm not gonna get that anyway. And then he asked some questions. All right. So then I said, of course I remember you, dude. Where you lived in, we'll say Nebraska. He's in the Midwest. I said, yeah, I remember you. You in Nebraska, right? He goes, yeah, Nebraska. He's 63 years old. And I said, and I just told him, I said, I'm glad you know who the one is in charge. Can you imagine going through this without the Lord? I can't. I literally can't. Anyway, the point being is, I was with some people. When I was on a small stint for vacation, and we were talking about my brother. That's just at his house, at his family. And we're talking about some people the family knows who are pretty wealthy, pretty well-to-do, wealthy for what you and I would be, not wealthy like Bill Gates, but whatever, well over seven figures of investments, or seven figure, probably not 8 figures, but certainly in the mid to high 7 figures. Got a pension, got Social Security. I don't know what kind of debt they have and all that. And they're scared crapless about the husband's scared crapless about running out of money. I'm just like, dude, it's not like I find that to be, it's crazy. I said, really? I said, even when he got that kind of scratch, it's a disease endemic in our society that says, you need to worry your butt off because you're gonna run out of money and leave your spouse to eat freaking pea soup. I don't know what do poor people eat anymore. I don't know what poor people eat anymore. Probably friggin' ribeye, lobster tails and ribeye, because wick is so profitable. Anyway, I don't know, but I'm just we've been so brainwashed to think all. Am I even recording? Yeah, okay. We've been so brainwashed to think of all the bad things that could come, and yet with our own very eyes, we don't see those bad things. We just don't. How many people do you know who are living friggin', they don't have enough to eat? You don't know. I guarantee you don't know anybody. Now, they might be in a nursing home, might not be able to doing great, but is that a lack of finance, or is that just because they're old and being in a nursing home with dementia sucks, dude? You know what I'm saying? I mean, how many do you people know that are in freaking the charity house from what's that guy's name? From Jacob Marley, Pickens, whatever, Kurt Dickens. You know what I'm talking about, Dickens, whatever that. Those Dickens, Charles Dickens. You know what I'm saying? None. You don't know anybody like that. I mean, maybe one. I don't know. Not many. Yeah, how many people you know died too soon before they had a chance to enjoy the retirement with their spouse? It's freaking sickening. It's sickening. It's a disease, and it comes from. I actually do truly believe we've been brainwashed when it comes to our faith. 100%. We've been taken away from Jesus, who serves the Lord of all, the Creator of all things. We've been taken away to follow the Pauline narrative, which says, that's all good. Just faith, man, faith. Even though Paul himself, I don't want to get into this here. I'll let y'all put links in there. And when you can be brainwashed about the most existential matter of all, you can be brainwashed about anything. And the sad thing is, most people are acceptable to be brainwashed. They're like, yeah, this might be true, but what if? And I'm like, man, do you not know the parable of the talents? And I think about this too, because Jesus also says, basically give away. It's tough, man. It's tough when you actually read Jesus's words and you think about it, like, no wonder why it's hard for a rich man to get into heaven, because you're like, yeah, I don't want to say, I don't know. It's been a while since I actually read Jesus's words, because I'm too busy right now in the Old Testament. But it's like, are you really supposed to? I mean, look around me, dude. You know what I'm saying? I am wealthier than the vast majority of the world. Never mind Americans, the whole entire world. Am I really supposed to give this up? I think you are. So if you don't give this up, if you don't give this up and you're still sinning with your right hand, when it's one of those things you got to literally have a come to Jesus moment and say, Jesus, man, I don't want to be of this world, but the same point is, man, you got to pray. You need to ask for guidance. And when it comes to retirement planning, you got to say, God, why do I have so much fear of this temporal existence? I don't know, man. It's crazy. And I just, who am I to go in that? I mean, look, you got to give it up to live in a 3-bed, 2-bath ranch. Well, you're even there still living better than the vast majority of people. All right, you got to give it up to live in a single wide. Even there, you're living better than the vast majority of people. How does that work? Are you supposed to go live in India with what's her name, Sister Teresa, Sister Christian, whatever that lady? Yeah, Mother Teresa, whatever that name was, Mother Teresa. And you're just like, what are you supposed? I don't know. I don't know the answers to these things. But if you're not thinking about them and praying on them, you're not gonna know either. You're gonna be brainwashed, as we've all been, dudes. And you're gonna be sitting there thinking, I hate to be judgmental. I'm literally trying not to. I'm just sitting there thinking, if you got middle 7 figures and you're worried crap was about running out of money, something has gone awry in our lives. And I bet a lot of you are like that. Me too, dude. And something has gone off the scales, dude. And I think we need to get back to Jesus's words as opposed to Paul's words, where Jesus and just follow his commands and recognize maybe being more of a giving society, a revelation in how you give, and not just giving like, my wife was happy that Michael Jordan gave $10 million to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's freaking awesome. Love it. But with that said, it's worth $1 billion. So let's not. I mean, look, that's wonderful. 10 million is better than 5 million. You know what I'm saying? It's better when I give. But at the end of the day, we know what Jesus says. But there's poor will always be with us about the lady who gave like I don't know what it was, a friggin' a wooden nickel, and people And I just it's so who I mean I'm giving I don't come anywhere near tithing because I got the debt. See, that's what it does. The debt keeps you from doing what you know you're supposed to be doing, but you take the debt because you want this house. We're down at the beach in South Carolina. And I'm just like, dude, in your mind, you're like, I got this equity, tons of equity. I could borrow against this and buy it. I mean, it's freaking satanic, dudes. It's satanic. And this temporal existence is keeping you from enjoying your spouse, your life. And that doesn't mean you give up God for, like you don't have to have ability to enjoy this temporal existence. It's just, you don't have time, dude. My man here doesn't have time. He's got to retire. All right, I just thoughts. I had first video, because I take the Sabbath now. I got to get more into Jesus' words as commands. Love one another as you love yourself and love the Lord above all. There's more to that, dude. I think we really need to rethink the Pauline doctrine relative to Jesus. And say, what did Jesus actually? And here's a problem with red letter Christians. A lot of them are libs. I get it, and I'm not. Red letter mean the Jesus' words are in red, but that doesn't mean we abandon Jesus' words. The Pauline doctrine. Yeesh. That means we focus on Jesus' words. And if Jesus' words contradict Paul's words, well, you got to toss Paul's words out, dude. 100%. And then you think about James, literally the brother of Jesus. It's interesting too, because when I was a Catholic, Paul was never that prominent in Catholic theology, at least in my, readings and listenings and learnings. So Paul wasn't. And then when I started listening to some Presbyterian pastors and Methodist, it was heavy on Paul. I said, I remember thinking, it's like, well, we didn't really know that much about Paul in the Catholic, what I'm saying? So remember, Acts is a different Paul than the Paul of his letters, his epistles. Acts is a different Paul than Paul's epistles. Very interesting, by the way. And I always loved Acts, with Nathaniel and whatnot. Probably one of my favorite books in the Bible. It wasn't written by Paul, it was written by Luke, but Paul takes a priority in the day-to-day life. But it's just interesting in Catholicism, Paul didn't never seem to be as prominent as it was in non-denominational or Protestant. And it was interesting, and so it's easy to fall for like Romans and Galatians and stuff. You're like, I get, but if you start thinking, wait a second, you see what I'm saying? It's kind of drawn me back a little bit more to Catholicism, and I think I'm non-denominational more than anything. But it's easy to follow that back. So the Catholics did have some things right, dude. You know what I'm saying? They did have some things right, because they say, hey, Jesus's words drive the faith, not Paul's words, Jesus's words. And I'm just saying, I'm just spouting off there. Don't get offended. If you want to unsubscribe, I don't care. But it's just like, I'm on a learning experience in this channel, dude. And most of it revolves around helping you figure out financial planning and retirement planning so you can join me on a learning experience to broaden your horizon with God, to serve God, dude. God is all things, everything, all things, everything. If we're not serving God, we might as well just freaking jump off a lake, dude, into a lake head first. You know what I'm saying? Because God's all that matters. Everything should be done to glorify God. Nothing else. Everything should be done to glorify God. If we're not glorifying God because our right arm is causing us to sin, well, someone named Jesus says, cut off your freaking right arm. Jesus didn't say, no, it's all good. It's all good. Just faith in me alone. No. And then you're going to start getting mad. I don't know if, I can't stand Freud. That whole thing's silly, but I'm not sure what the things of, I don't know what it is. But when you start realizing the errors of omission, the crimes of omission, it does make you mad. I don't know if I guess it's anger, then I don't know those words, whatever stupid Freud does. I don't know. But I think there's something legitimate to there. And there's something like, even my brother saying, yeah, but some of Paul's writings are divine. I said, that's the issue. Satan ain't dumb. Some things at CDC are legit. You can't it's like, you can't just say everything they say is bad, because if it was all bad, you would not believe anything. It has to be legitimacy to get you to fall for the propaganda. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm hearing my man here. He's like, thankfully I helped him retire in 2019. So he's had 3 good years. But now he's down to 120, 5'10", 120, dudes. That's not healthy. He's going to go on chemo. All right, more to come. If I get back, it's 4 o'clock. I got to take Code to UJ. I should be back in time to do a live stream tonight. So we'll see you. God bless. Pray to your Heavenly Father above for guidance. The most important thing you can do is pray.